I did not think that I would be able to live off photography ever. Venture It was created as a portfolio. It was live. I expected the business to come flowing, and there was none. Instead, I met the boy Khalid, thought he'd be a little taller, and this man's quote tweeted it with just a bunch of skull emojis. Hi, how you doing? The single best thing that I've done through Venture It has been back in 2017 actually starting a portfolio. Prior to 2017, I had been trying to take a lot of photos, but I wasn't necessarily making any money off it, and I didn't really know if I was gonna ever try to make money off it. But in 2017, I got my first couple gigs that were like, I swear they were like $50 or something. But it ignited a fire in me, and I was like, I need to create a portfolio, store all my best work on, and maybe it will bring some more jobs. And so I went the Squarespace route, and I created just I think it was a 3-page website that was a place that I could host probably 10 of my best images. I paid $20 subscription fee. I made maybe $50 that month. I was committing to a subscription fee, but it didn't matter because it looked cool, dude. It looked sick. The reason I went through Squarespace was because, one, I didn't have money, and this was like the cheapest way to get a portfolio up and going without having to like hire out or learn some complex developer tools, whatnot. I remember back then I had a few kind of friends that weren't super positive about like the CMS system. If you're using Squarespace, like it's all templates and other people can have that, and it's just not as professional. And I didn't care because, again, I couldn't afford anything else. Do you really think that people coming onto your site or portfolio actually give a shit about what platform you're using? I used to think so. I don't think so anymore. And the big reason I don't think so anymore is because we're running a business off Squarespace still to this day. I think that you should worry less about creating this crazy, unique website that is custom coded and everything, and instead get something going in general. I would just worry more about, is your product actually good or is your service actually good, than having some crazy website that displays like your crappy product or service. I'm reading off this stuff because I wrote it the other day, and whatever. I believe I pulled about 20 of my best images at the time, and I threw them up on a 3-page website. I included some pricing. What I started realizing is that the more information I could put on a website or portfolio, the less questions I received later, which meant the more time that was saved for me as well. And this has been something that's been iterated and constantly improved over the years, to where now we very rarely receive regular like questions over and over. It's usually like we'll get a call and it's somebody that's like, do you print film photos? I got one like yesterday. No, we don't, just so you know. Other than that, like the questions that most people are asking regularly, they can all be found on our site. And yeah, it makes your life a lot easier. Venture It was created as a portfolio. It was live. I expected the business to come flowing, and there was none. There was no business. However, had I not started that portfolio, I would not get the customers to come. Even though clients weren't pouring onto the site, I had a place where anybody interested could go, and the few that were interested could hop on there. At the time, I think I was doing primarily senior photos, and it increased chances that, you know, somebody's mom would be willing to pay money for a service because they see at least some examples of what we could do. So one of the biggest things about a portfolio or website is that it increases the perception that you know what the fuck you're doing, whether you actually know what you're doing or not. I'm really not trying to reiterate the importance of a website. If you're watching this, I hope that you understand the importance of a website already, but I really want to talk about how this benefited a freelance photographer and how it helped me push towards an actual business rather than being a freelancer my whole life. So that all being said, in 2017, when I started that portfolio, I did not think that I would be able to live off photography ever. That was not really my thought process at the time. It was that I enjoyed taking photos and I wanted to see if a portfolio would help me do what I loved more. And it did help me get more opportunities within photography. So what the next 3-4 years looked like was every time I went and took photos, if I felt like there was a photo in that session that could elevate my portfolio more, then I would add it to my website. And I continuously did this probably every couple months, and I still continue to do this. Your portfolio should be like your resume, right? So you don't use a resume from 5 years ago because hopefully you've accomplished more and can showcase yourself better currently. A great way to kind of look at how our portfolio has evolved would be to go back to the day one. I think I do have some photos here that I can pull to show what was going on the site at this time. Literally, probably can't see it, but that is a screenshot of the very first website. So going through the tabs, there was work, about, contact, and that is it. The work was the landing page. It was just, I think, like literally 10 images that you could scroll through. They didn't lead anywhere. They didn't go anywhere. About just said a little bit about me, and then contact. Like those should have been combined. So really there's 2 tabs on this website. And just to talk about the photos, there was a picture of Khalid because he came to WSU and a buddy was on the SEB team and was like, dude, you should take some photos. And I was like, bet on that. So I had to put that at the top of the portfolio. I have to bring this up too because I completely forgot about this until I mentioned Khalid. I actually got a photo with him right after, and I just tweeted it and said I met the boy Khalid, thought he'd be a little taller, and this man's quote tweeted it with just a bunch of skull emojis. I think that's so funny. The next is Ruvam, and it's just a pitch black background behind him. He was standing in a parking garage. And then actually my ex is the third photo here against a brick wall. Looks like a senior photo. That's all I can see. So, as you can tell from me talking about it, we were off to the races. I'm saying this stuff so that it's transparent of like where it's come from. All the images on that first site did not include a single paid shoot. It was solely just because I loved taking photos and I wanted to get better at it. Right after that, I booked my first paid gig that was like maybe $100, and I immediately threw that on the portfolio. So as you can see from these images, people probably left our site or got on our site and then left thinking, what the hell do these people actually sell? What are they taking photos of? I don't know. But nevertheless, this still increased our ability to raise pricing and to house more professional images somewhere altogether that we could showcase to people possibly interested. That is ideally what the purpose of a portfolio is in general. You evolve the portfolio to attract larger or different potential clients. If you don't have a portfolio, and this can go outside of photography, this is for any product or any service, it is the most crucial step in actually getting people to see what you have to offer. If you are working some job right now, but you have goals or dreams to kind of start your own thing down the line, but start building a website now. It doesn't have to be complete like out the gate. It's $20 a month. Let's do the math on that. That is, I think it's $20 a month, a basic subscription. That is $120. That is $140. No, that is $240. Jesus Christ. That's $240 a year. I know that sounds steep, but hey, you bought a pair of shoes for that probably recently. So don't buy a pair of shoes. Invest in your future. You know what I'm saying? But seriously, it's $240 to actually start something that can bring you closer to where you want to be in the future. If you enjoyed this video, kind of hearing about how building a portfolio helped Venture specifically, next week we're going to be talking about more solution side, increasing quality throughout your site, AI solutions to doing so on your own, and just talk more about general planning of building a website out or a portfolio. If you watch this, I appreciate you. It's fun to talk about it, all right? Yeah, that's all I got really. Anyway.